most of you know, I just came back from a 3-day-long Curcio spiritual retreat. And during the weekend, I met incredible people who literally took care of my every need, my physical, my emotional, my spiritual needs. In fact, they took care of my needs in ways that sometimes felt a bit uncomfortable at first. They were in complete control, not us. We pilgrims had no idea of what was going to happen next. The staff and the guides were in charge of everything, and it felt rather disconcerting to not know, to be in the dark. Yet by the end of the weekend, I felt a close kinship with these people, and I didn't want to leave that safe and secure feeling of being with them. It was magical, almost. They felt like family, like an old slipper, and we'd just met. Our theme for the weekend centered around the butterfly emerging from its dark hiding place in the chrysalis, just like our sermon series for the next 8 weeks. And as pilgrims at Curcio, we were on a journey and had to enter into a space that was a bit uncomfortable, because being kept in the dark can feel uncomfortable. Yet when we emerged, we felt like new people because God's light and love was shown to us through the amazing hospitality and love called Curcio. We didn't want to leave because we wondered if anything could be better than this womb-like place. Let's go back to our call to worship. In the dark of the womb, we wondered, what could be better than this warm and safe place? Well, I got to wondering a little bit more, and I wondered what butterflies feel like inside of their hanging, safe place. So here are a few fun facts about butterflies. David, you might want to write some of these down for our, trivia night, okay? Despite the 17,500 species of butterflies that currently exist, only about 750 live in the U.S. Wow. Okay, who knows what the most abundant butterfly is? Raise your hand if you think you know what it is. Just yell it out. What do you think it is? Monarch. Keep going. Anything else? Monarch? No? You see it on your lawn a lot. It's this big. The white cabbage butterfly. The little one. Most adult butterflies only live for 1 to 2 weeks. Monarch butterflies can migrate as far as 3,000 miles for their track. Butterflies cannot fly if their body temperature is less than 86 degrees. Many butterflies taste with their feet. They land on a little leaf and they feel it with their feet and they taste it to determine if their caterpillars, their eggs, when they emerge, can actually eat that particular plant. Now, does anyone know what a group of butterflies are called? Yell it out if you know.
A posse.
A posse. Excellent choice. Anything else? It's cute. A flutter. Of course. Most adult butterflies never poop. They don't poop. You know why? Well, they eat up all their energy. They eat up all that food, and they have to use it for energy. They can't excrete waste. Moths and butterflies go through a 4-stage life cycle: egg and larva, called caterpillar, pupa, and adult. They enter then into a safe place to change. Anyone guess how long it takes for an average butterfly to complete their metamorphosis? Take a guess. Yes?
2 to 3 months.
2 to 3 months. Okay, that's a good guess. Anybody else? 2 weeks? 10 to 15 days. It is short. When butterfly caterpillars molt for the last time, instead of producing an outer layer of skin like a moth would to build a cocoon, butterflies instead form a hard case called a chrysalis, and the chrysalis attaches to a solid surface to protect them. So moth caterpillars cocoon, and butterfly caterpillars have a chrysalis. Both are dark inside. Both require the insect to transform into something different. Now, we can't talk about tombs, cocoons, or chrysalises without mentioning Barbara Brown Taylor's excellent quote from her book, Learning to Walk in the Dark. New life starts in the dark. Whether it's a seed in the ground, a baby in the womb, or Jesus in the tomb, it starts in the dark. Now, friends, we have a lot of ideas and images in our head about darkness. Yell out some words that remind you of darkness. When you hear the word darkness, what do you think of, Isaiah?
Black.
Black. Okay, what else?
Fear.
Fear? Mm-hmm. Night. What else? Cavern? Mm-hmm. Cavern. Depression? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else? Darkness. Black. Yep, black. The interesting thing is that dark things are often scary things. Being in the dark, whether physically or metaphorically, can be uncomfortable. Have you ever heard of the saying, the dark night of the soul? I'm sure you have. This saying can be used to describe an extremely difficult and painful period in someone's life. Now, in the Earth's daylight cycle, darkness is a place that is waiting for the morning to come. It's a place and time where many creatures rest. It's often what we do at night. It's a time when we go and we rest and we recuperate and recover from, like, gardening that day, right? The darkness is also where seeds are nurtured to become flowers and vegetables, trees and herbs. Darkness in the cocoon or chrysalis is a place of mysterious transformation where a crawly caterpillar can become this winged thing of beauty. The scriptures read today were two distinct stories that are very important to our faith. The conception of Jesus is a mystery. We know that a child, a uniquely human, divine child, was conceived in the womb of a young woman named Mary, and the womb was a safe place. Fun fact, the womb is built to have 3 separate layers, each one stronger than its neighbor. Its main function is to house and nurture a growing baby. Babies can hear in the womb when they're growing, but it's dark, it's very dark. They can't really see, but they can hear. When I was 7 months pregnant with my second child, I was told the child was sitting breech, backwards. Coming out backwards, bottom first, is very hard on the mom and on the child. So midwife gave me a hint, and I placed a music box on my tailbone while I went upside down. The baby heard the music, and at 7 months pregnant, figured out how to completely turn around, woo, and then face head down instead of head up. It's dark in the womb and safe, but they can hear. The dark place felt safe to my child, yet the child responded to that magical sound while protected. Let's return to the call to worship. Once we were birthed into this life, at times we wondered, could there be more than meets the eye? We don't really understand how Jesus came to be conceived into Mary's womb or came to be resurrected while in the dark tomb. But we take it on faith that these two things happened and did so in obscure darkness out of anyone's sight. We can often conjure up images in our mind that the dark is a place of uncertainty, fear, and even death. Many of you in this room and friends, you at home, have experienced times of dark night of the soul. You all saw the pictures during our share with God's silent prayer time, and each one of us in some way in our lives has been touched by hard darkness. One of my parishioners who was close to death told me that they were afraid of the darkness of death. They really hoped they would see light right away when they died because the darkness frightened them. But darkness as darkness isn't the whole picture. Darkness, that is, a place without light, is also a place of incredible possibility. Possibility. How can we overturn the negative associations we have with darkness? How can we revel in the potential of those in-between places rather than simply being impatient for the result? What holy and sacred life can be lived in the time that is between what was and what has yet to become? From the call to worship. In the dark of the tomb times of our existence, we wonder, is there life beyond these constraints? As you heard earlier, my time at Curcia was difficult for me at first. And usually when you're on retreat, there's a schedule of some sort, an agenda, right? You get an agenda. You might even be given a menu that tells the meals that will be served. At this retreat, there was nothing given to us about the schedule or any meals. As new pilgrims, we had no idea when we would be in prayer, silence, free time, lecture time, song time. We had no idea what we would eat or when we would eat because it changed every day. There was nothing. Thinking back, for several months before Cursillo, in fact, all last year, I prayed that I would meet a kindred spirit of sorts. Life as a pastor can be quite lonely. There's little time to build relationships outside of our flocks. So I've been praying about this, and I really had no idea why I was going to Cursillo. Not really. I'd been invited, and I had a sponsor, but beyond that, I knew I just needed rest. I needed spiritual renewal, and then I'd been praying for a kindred spirit. At the very beginning of the retreat, I met a woman who was close to me in age, and we got to talking, and she was equally uncomfortable with the unknowing of being kept in the dark. It was weird to not have control. We couldn't see the next step, and it felt unsafe. I even called my husband that first night, and I shared my discomfort. I actually had to text him because we were in silent retreat. I obeyed most of the rules. And he reassured me, Kim, you just have to go with it. Like, you just have to go with it. I would be okay. Well, my new friend and I encouraged each other too. We started to hang out together and learn about each other. And neither one of us really knew why we were there. We just knew that God had called us there, and we'd both put it off in the past. But both felt called to this particular Cursillo for some reason. So we sat together in our discomfort. One morning, we had to show up for sunrise. I mean, really early. And we arrived at the sunrise wearing the same clothes. The staff kept laughing about it. The staff knew exactly why we'd each been called to Cursillo at this particular time. In this particular season in our lives, we needed each other. We were kindred spirits. We found light in the unknown. And as we discovered a stronger relationship with God, as we leaned on each other to get us through this being left in the dark feeling, we started to realize our purpose and our kinship. God works in such mysterious ways in darkness, my friends. The passages and stories we heard today can be a reminder for us to find the holy, the mystical, and spiritual presence of God in the incomplete, in the potential, in the waiting times, in the dark. What a wonderful way to start this season after Easter. God will walk with us as we explore the stages of the emergence a butterfly undergoes as it prepares to leave the confines of a chrysalis into the glory of whatever comes next. Because the love of the divine reminds us, you too are my child. You too can emerge to renewed life again and again. Amen.